All right, y'all. Today we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business. We're going to check out its local search, its city search, and we're going to see if it's got BSS, yes or no. So we're back here in the GBC universe where we take declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. Our North Star, as always, is FSIC, which means full spectrum intent to capture. More on that, pinned video, home video, whatever, main video, wherever you're at. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. We got our full, intent spectrum here. High intent peeps over on the left, lowest intent peeps over on the right. For boudoir photography business is rising, most likely we're pulling in people from the entire intent spectrum. And if our boudoir photography business is falling, we're missing chunks of people across somewhere on the intent spectrum. So here we're talking about BSS, the highest intent peeps. These people search for boudoir photo shoots right now on all the different four big social media sites. So social search and Google search. And over way on the right, that is our other brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. We talk about BLCS. We currently only work with the boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. And so Facebook ads is the lowest intent peeps, interruption ads, Facebook, Instagram, which is going to be actually the largest volume of people that exist in a city. All right, so BSS, boudoir search sameness. So when a boudoir photographer, say there's 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google. So 0 slots on page 1 on Google, so we're on page 2 or deeper, effectively invisible, because we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. So approximately 80% of the market, so the bulk of the market ain't never going to see if we're on page 2 or deeper. And we actually want to, even if we got 1 slot, it's still not good enough. That's still boudoir search sameness because we look the same as everyone else. Everyone else gonna have 1 slot as well. So what's a buyer gonna do? They're just gonna, right click, open everyone's website, open a new tab, everyone down page 1. Probably won't even go to page 2, which is approximately 80% of searchers never do. So we're gonna assume that they don't even go to page 2. They're just gonna contact every boudoir photographer on page 1 near them and get price quotes and call it a day, and then kind of pick the best out of all those. So as a result, boudoir search sameness, no bueno. And 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google is actually not normal. It's extremely common. It's not normal to have that few number of slots page 1 on Google. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. First one everyone knows about, nearly everyone knows about, market saturation. Second one, nearly nobody knows about, which is the false belief of page 1 equality. So market saturation, that's someone gets a new iPhone and they throw up their Google My Business profile and their website saying they're now for boudoir, or they're now a boudoir photographer. And get new gear like a camera, then they're posting the mom Facebook groups saying they're now for boudoir photo shoots. So market saturation, more boudoir photographers for the same number of buyers, increases in the supply side, makes it harder for each seller to, make a sale. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality. Okay, this is, from what I've seen, is the #1 killer boudoir photography businesses, where originally people accepted page 1 equality as normal. Like, it's normal for every boudoir photographer to have either 0 or 1 slots on page 1. And yeah, I was ranked, my website was ranked on page 1, but, someone else came in, their website got ranked above mine. I got pushed off to page 2, but, that's simply how it is. I simply got to accept it. There's nothing I can do. It's just part of the game. When actually, this is 100% false. This is a 100% false belief, because what I have learned is Google will actually give as many slots on page 1 to those who want to put in the effort to acquire those slots. And I know that because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 Google search to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 Google search in only 10 days. So I know this is true. I've done it. And so this false belief of page 1 equality, it's like a mental cage. People don't even look for a solution. They don't even try to figure something out. They don't even know it's possible. But in 2 pictures here, we'll see that it actually is possible, or 4 or 5 pictures here. We also know that boudoir photographer with BSS, boudoir search sameness is a disappearing boudoir photographer, DBP. And that's because, if we got 0 slots on page 1, we're on page 2. Approximately 80% of searches never even going to find us. So yes, we're disappearing. Even if we got one slot on page one, not good enough. We look the same as everyone else. Going to be price shop compared to everyone else. And a buyer's just going to click and open everyone's website on page one and price shop everyone. So we got to get more slots on page one to kick out. And also, so we got more slots on page one. We're also kicking out our competitors. So actually, we get price shopped against fewer peeps. And disappearing boudoir photographer, it's like the canary in a coal mine. If we got BSS or disappearing boudoir photographer, we are, pretty. That means the business is on the path to disappearing as well. So luckily, we now have a solution. BSS is treated with social search saturation, our SQt methodology, and it works exactly like it says. We saturate social search with the highest intent keywords, kind of like the small rivers flowing down the backside of the Andes Mountains. And once we do that, saturate, that flows into the Amazon River, which is Google page one search. That's the end result of doing SQt methodology correctly. And again, yes, I have done this for myself. Now, the magical thing about SQt methodology is it's the only thing I've seen for boudoir photographers that is able to successfully get rid of, fight against and actually overcome market saturation. So why is that? Let's say we're in DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Or let's say we're in DC. And there's 1 million boudoir photographers in DC. They all got a website saying they do boudoir photography. Same as us, we're one of them. Everyone's fighting to be ranked page one on Google. But let's say we crank up SQt methodology to the max. So we crank up SQt methodology to the max, and we take the first 300 slots across all, on social search. It's all us. And as a result, or the first 300 searches on Google for also the highest intent buyer keywords, those who want a boudoir photo shoot in their city. And as a result, literally the first 30 pages, organic search results on Google, is us. Because it's 10, it's literally 10 organic slots per page. So we take the first 30 pages up with our 300 slots that we've captured. And our competitors, nobody can find them on organic results until the organic search results till page 31. So when buyers search anywhere, social or Google, we're basically the only one that they find. I mean, they probably ain't going to page 31 on Google. So as a result, whose business is growing? Ours. Even though there's 999,999 other boudoir photographers in our city. And why is that? Because buyers can't, it's hard for them to even find anyone else because we've saturated search everywhere so strongly across social and Google. So again, this is the only solution I've seen that allows boudoir photographers to successfully outcompete market saturation. Something that has momentum. Sure, ads, they give me one more slot on Google for PPC, but their momentum goes down to zero once you stop spending for them. SQt methodology, it maintains momentum. It has momentum, not infinite momentum, but it has way more momentum than an ad that instantly drops to zero momentum once you stop spending for it. Now, once treated with SQt methodology, we have page one visibility. A bonus side effect of this is for every new slot we occupy on page one, we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. Remember, approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page two. They're page one only searches. Yeah, we're making them invisible to approximately 4/5 of the marketplace. And obviously, that means we're going to be price shopped against fewer boudoir photographers. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. We have the GBC recommended minimum. We're going to hit 3 out of 10 slots on page one. I feel like that's kind of the first maximum point that we reach, where if every other boudoir photographer has one and we got 3, and subconsciously buyers going to be thinking, man, why is Google pushing this person 3 times? Everyone else only 1. I'm going to, I'll click all 3 on this one person. And in the very rare chance someone else has 2, well, we'll be out competing them as well because we got 3. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer. So this is our micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one inequality, which everyone used to accept as normal, but more and more people are not accepting as normal anymore. We now have the solution, luckily, finally, S-cubed methodology. We achieve page one visibility. We become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. All right, next up, my results using S-cubed methodology for myself. So I wanted to rank for the keyword BLCS boudoir. I want to dominate page one on Google. So let's go down to the organic slots. So organic slot page one, or organic slot one, IG, me. Slot two, me. Slot three, me. Slot four, me. Slot five, me. Slot six, me. Slot seven, me. Slot eight, me. Slot 10, me. So I did this in 10 days. I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page one on Google to 9 out of 10 slots on page one on Google. And I exclusively used S-cubed methodology to achieve this. So these are the results I've gotten. Now, all right, main event here. Let's see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for its its local search and its city search. I was going to see if it is hitting the recommended GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page one on Google. All right, so we're going to Rancho Cordova, California. All right, so here we go. We're in Rancho Cordova, California. And let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. No, that doesn't count. All right, so we got 0 out of 10. So we got BSS for our local search, and we are not hitting the GBC recommended minimum 3 out of 10 slots, page one on Google. We're going to go to our city search now, larger city search, Sacramento, California. Let's check it out here. Let's see. All right, we got one. Boom. Nice. City's always harder than local. So, all right, we got 1 out of 10. And let's see. All right, so we got 1 out of 10 local. So we do still got BSS for that one. All right, so final result, we got so local we got 0 out of 10. So we got BSS. City we got 1 out of 10. We also have BSS, and for both, we did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page one on Google. So if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer, meaning you've gone and done your local search and you've done your city search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city, and you see, you had BSS for one or both of them, or you're not reaching the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page one Google search for one or both of them, and you've accepted that the false belief of page one inequality is exactly that, a false belief. You understand Google actually give us as many page one slots on Google as we want to put in the effort to acquire. Your CNS key methodology is the only path to achieve that, and you've actually been waiting for something like this. You're like, oh my God, finally, yes. And you're liking the initial benefits, more slots page one on Google, nice. You're liking the second initial benefit, kicking other boudoir photographers off page one on Google. Yes, awesome as well. All these obviously increasing probability you get clients. You understand the market saturation. Yeah, peeps get more gear, more boudoir photographers enter the market over time naturally. And you're also thinking ahead, like, man, AI is taking a lot of peeps jobs right now already. And, it's going to be taking more and more peeps jobs. And you understand, last time that happened, COVID, people lost their jobs, had to earn money. Everyone's got a super powered smartphone with an awesome camera. So boudoir photography is like the easiest thing for people to enter. So, massive wave of new boudoir photographers coming in as a result of AI. And because of that, you're looking ahead being like, all right, you're realizing you actually have to not only get all these positions on page one, you got to fortify these positions on page one. I have so many links on page one that Google wants to rank on page one for you, but there's literally not enough slots. You got like backup links, page 2, 3, 4, 5, that you need that basically fortify your position, kind of like fortifying the levee down in Nolens, Louisiana, because the city is actually below sea level, fortifying get it against the ocean. Realize you got to fortify your positions on Google search with so many backup links that no current boudoir photographer competitor would ever hope to rank on page one, nor any future boudoir photographer competitor coming from AI taking their job could ever rank on page one. and you're saying again, oh, okay, S-cube methodology is the only solution that can provide that benefit as well. And you want to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you know you need these things on your journey to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you're also thinking ahead. Do you understand how S-cube methodology is working? We're basically building up these invisible thematic keyword columns on the back end in cyberspace, basically attached to your brand name, your business's name across all your social handles, kind of intertwined and kind of sticking out, poking out from your business. And you're understanding that every day we successfully execute S-cube methodology, we're actually increasing the probability up here for us to be recommended in AI overview in search. The most premium placement, we cannot pay to get this placement with ads. This is the #1 most premium placement we want to achieve. And similarly, the other future benefit is, again, related to AI. Every day we successfully execute S-cube methodology, we're increasing the probability that AI search apps start recommending us as well. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Every day we're kind of building up this back end keyword momentum, AI mindshare momentum for these highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in our city, increasing the probability we get recommended AI search. I remember the last time I did AI search for boudoir photographer in a city, it returned me 3. This was with ChatGPT. I actually went and manually searched that city. Dude, there's around 60 searched on Google and Facebook. And so it's like, we got to get this um, one of these 3 slots in AI search, or however many slots there are as possible, because AI search is increasing every single day, and standard Google search is decreasing every single day. So you're liking those, but there's those future benefits. You're also liking that kind of estimated increase probability of building a brand. A well-known brand is estimated to be approximately 8x faster, which the brand helps insulate against market saturation. And also, I imagine you got a brand and you're continuing to use S-cube methodology, because you understand that my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So you understand you can actually kick out all your competitors from utilizing this technology, and you can get all these benefits, initial and future benefits, build a brand faster, prevent your competitors from using it, build a massive gap in like AI mindshare, backend AI keyword mindshare, to be recommended for AI search and AI overviews, and build a massive gap that basically your competitors will never be able to touch or intrude upon. And that's why I've decided to be a first mover, because you know that conversely, if one of your boudoir photographer competitors would just be this in your city would sign on with me first, then what would actually happen is they would get all those benefits. You'd be kicked off page 1, maybe even kicked off page 2 as well, relegated page 3 or deeper. You would be losing, basically building up no AI mindshare, while me and your competitor are building up massive momentum, massive AI mindshare in the back end, invisible thematic keyword columns over and over and over again, reinforcing that repetition, relevance, authority, age, increase in probability. They build that up on us. And as a result, we actually, me and your competitor building up this massive gap, and you would not have access to our technology. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to recreate S-cube method, rederive it for yourself, and you would never actually be 100% confident you've derived it correctly. You would then have to execute it equally to us every single day, put in the time and effort to do that. And if you were to do that, you're simply maintaining the gap, meaning your competitor already have, way ahead of you. So you'd have to actually double or triple our output every single day to be able to start pulling back the AI keyword mindshare back towards you, away from me and your competitor. And again, you would never be 100% confident you've actually derived the methodology correctly. So probably wouldn't feel confident putting that much time into it. And then even if you did, dude, who's got 80 hours per day to be doing all this effort? So you decide, screw that. You're gonna be the first mover. Get all these benefits, initial benefits, future benefits, prevent your competitors from using this technology. So if that's you, shoot us a DM. Our DMs are currently closed. The hospital is not currently accepting new patients. So when the hospital does come to open back up to accept a new patient, shoot us a DM. We'll see if you qualify for utilizing our S cubed methodology.